Welcome back to MB's Creative Creations. Today we're going to learn how to crochet and we're just going to learn how to stitch basically. In crocheting there are stitches. So today we're going to learn how to stitch. This is part 2 of my crocheting series that we have going on, and all we're going to need for today is your H hook or your 5mm hook and the yarn to go with it. And if you're not familiar with the yarn or the tools that you need for crocheting, I'm going to link it up above and in the description box so that you all can familiarize yourself with the tools that we need for crocheting. Okay, so the first things first, in any work that you do with crocheting, you're going to start off with a slip knot. And a slip knot, we're going to grab our yarn and we're just going to grab one of the ends, and I have my end here. And to do a slip knot, I'm going to, so I'm left-handed, I'm working with my left hand, and I hope that you can follow this easily with your right hand. So with my right hand, I'm going to grab the end of my yarn and pinch it between my thumb and my pointer finger, kind of like at an angle. So you have it like that. And then with this remaining yarn, I'm going to loop it around my finger here like this and bring it back around. So when it's back around, what I'm going to do is kind of pinch it together, but take it off from my pointer finger and then hold on to it. And then all I'm going to do is pull through that little circle that we made. And then you have a loop here. Next thing we're going to do is grab our hook. And very simple, just pull it through our loop. And then you're just going to tighten it. And you don't want to tighten it too much where you cannot move your yarn on your hook. You want it to be loose. If it's too tight, there's just you won't be able to work properly with it. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is learn how to hold our yarn. So since I am left-handed, I am going to hold the yarn with my left hand. And I'm going to grab my yarn with my right hand, but let me show you, can't just necessarily hold it like this. So let me show you how we hold it. So I'm just going to wrap it around my pinky. So it's kind of out like this. I'm gonna wrap it around my pinky so it makes a loop, as you can see that. And then I'm going to bring it underneath, and it's going to come through the bottom 3 fingers here, and then I'm going to loop it around the top finger like so. You can see that? See, that's what your inside of your hand looks like, and then here's the outside of your hand. So now to start off, I'm going to grab with my thumb and one of my middle fingers, and we're going to learn how to chain. So when you see a pattern in crocheting and it asks you to chain 4 or 10, this is what it's talking about. And so I have my pointer finger on my working hand on the yarn right here, just to hold it, to make sure that it does not fall off of my hook. And my hook is facing up currently. You see this space right here on your hook? That's for you to grip on. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to do is grab the yarn with our hook, bring your hook down and into the loop, and that is a chain. So let's see that again. You bring it in and loop through. And I like to, as I'm chaining and my chain is growing, I like to hold on to the very end just so that I have a little bit more control. So hook up, bring it down, and in through my loop. So let's continue. Chain 16. That is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And here you can see your chain. So the second thing that we're going to learn is our stitches, and the first stitch that I'm going to show you today is called a single crochet, and it asks you to chain 16 like we did. You're going to see the abbreviation of CH. Now for a single crochet, it's going to be SC, and I'm going to leave a link down below for you in the description box, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so to single crochet, what I'm going to do is start off with the second chain from the hook. So I'm not going to chain into this one. So if you're counting, it's 1, 2. So you're not counting this one, I'm sorry, 1. So you're not counting this one, so 1, 2. So this is the second chain from the hook. And to single crochet, all you're going to do is insert your hook through your chain. And I'm kind of like at an angle, like side facing me. The hook is facing me. I'm going to grab my yarn. So now my hook is going to grab the yarn, and you see that I have 2 loops on the hook. And I'm going to grab some more yarn and pull it through. And that is a single crochet. So let's try this with the rest of the chain. So then again, I'm going to insert my hook into the next chain, grab my yarn. I have 2 loops on my hook, and I'm going to pull through both of those loops. Now just pay attention. If you're just observing right now, just pay attention to how I handle my hook. So when I go in, I have my hook at an kind of facing me, and then as I insert it through my chain, it goes up and grabs the yarn and comes back through. And I have the 2, and I bring my hook down and then back up again. And then if you also pay attention to what this hand is doing here, it's holding on to the yarn. As I insert my hook through my chain, I grab my yarn, and then I hold the yarn here so that it doesn't come off, and then pull through. And also, as I'm going through my chains, as we're single crocheting back through our chain, I'm also holding on to my work as well. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to insert my hook through my chain, and when I'm here, I grab my work and just pull it through, so that it's a little bit easier. Again, it just takes practice. When I started, I wasn't necessarily too comfortable with this, and I just practiced. I literally would stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning just working on my stitches with just some scrap yarn and practicing, because I was that determined to learn. So all I'm doing here is going back through my work. And that is what we call a single crochet. Let's go ahead and do one more row. So So all we're gonna do is chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work, and I'm going to single crochet, you see these here, into these 2 here. So as I pull through both, then it's the same concept, through both loops, and then that's a single crochet. So again, working on the next chain and the next single crochet. So we've already, this is your chain here at the very bottom, this is your single crochet. So when you're working into your other stitches of crochet, stitches, and in this case there's single crochets, you have, and it looks like a chain, but it's just your work. And what you want to do is you always want to make sure that you grab both. So see how I only went through one? I'm going to make sure that my hook goes through both. And what I'm doing here is I'm holding again my yarn that's on my needle with my finger and pushing through, kind of still at an angle. I brought my yarn, I still have 2 loops on the hook, and bring my yarn down and through, and I have gone through both loops, and I have 1 loop on my hook. Okay, again, so I have going to insert my hook through both loops here at the top. You can see these little ones here. I'm going to grab my yarn, bring my hook down. Now I have 2 loops on my hook, and I'm going to grab some yarn and pull through both loops, and there we go. That is a single crochet. So can you see? It is a pretty stitch. It's just different. It's very simple. So you have your chain down here, you have your first set of single crochets, and then your second set of single crochets there. So the next thing that we're going to learn is a double crochet. And double crochet is a little differently. So first, let's start off with chaining 2. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to turn our work over, meaning that we just turn it around. So now we're going to work back alongside here. Now a double crochet is kind of like a single crochet. The only thing is that we're going to wrap our yarn over our hook before we insert into our stitches here. So we're not going to start with the first one from the hook, from the first stitch from the hook. We're going to go into the second one, and because this is already considered one stitch here, and in a lot of cases it's not. So just pay attention to that. Again, I don't want to confuse you, so just kind of just throwing it out there so you can kind of familiarize yourselves with those little terms here later on. So I'm going to grab the both pieces of yarn that I have on my hook, insert my needle through my stitch, and again it's going to be through both, and then grab my yarn, and then I have 3 loops on my hook. What I'm going to do is grab yarn, twist over through 2. See, now I have 2 loops on my hook, and then grab some more yarn, and then do the last 2 loops on my hook, and that is a double crochet. So let's practice this one. Let me just thread my yarn here. We're gonna twist our hook, yarn on our hook, insert our hook through our stitch, and do both for whatever reason. It's not working for me like that today. Grab my yarn, bring it through. I have 3 loops on my hook. Now I'm going to grab some yarn and pull through 2 hooks, 3 loops, and then I have 2 loops on my hook, and then I'm going to grab some more yarn and pull through the last 2. I like to kind of think of it as a double crochet, like in 2s. Obviously double means 2, so that's why I always just kind of think 2 and 2. And when I was learning this, what kind of helped me was I have yarn, and then I'm going 2, so I got 2 here, and then 2, and I knew that was my double. So that kind of helped me out a little bit. Again, it's just really how you can remember it. So learn the stitch and then just make it work for you. So again, let's go ahead and just do this together all the way through. So I've already wrapped yarn around my hook, inserting my needle, my hook through my stitch, bringing it down, of course, because we don't want our yarn to fall through. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to grab some more yarn and insert it through 2. Now I have 2 more loops on my hook, grab some more yarn and insert it through the last 2. And this is a double crochet. Can you see the difference from your single to your double? It's like it rose up. So I'm only going to teach you the single and double crochet for today, because that's normally all I use. There are other types of stitches, but as we progress, we will I'll bring those to the table. Okay, so let's go ahead and just double crochet back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2, and then we turn our work, and we're gonna start right here. So we're gonna yarn over, insert our work, insert our needle through our stitch and bring it in, and you're gonna have 3 loops on your hook, and now you'll have 2, and then the last 2. So yarn over, in through your stitch, and bring your hook down. You have 3 on your hook, 2, and then yarn over, and then through your last 2 stitches. So go ahead and work on that, and then meet me at the end. And you can see that my work is not straight because I didn't do my ends properly, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to confuse you. We'll learn how to do all that later. But as you can see here, and usually I leave my work like that so it doesn't come undone. So we've learned today how to chain. So you have your chain here, you have 2 rows of single crochet. So we have 1. So this is your chain at the very bottom. This is your first row of single crochet. This is your second row of single crochet, and then you have a 3rd row of double crochet and a 4th row of double crochet. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope that you become motivated or you're inspired by this to start crocheting. It takes practice and determination, and like I said, I'm not an expert yet, but I've taught myself how to do this, and in I guess maybe less than a month I was already crocheting and following patterns. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the description box so that I can respond to it. If there are any crocheters out there looking at this video, please comment down below, on maybe any suggestions or any tips that you may have for us. Remember, this is just a learning platform for all of us who are interested in crocheting. And if you haven't already, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. We'd love to have you become a part of the family. I have a fall video coming up in the next couple of days, so look out for that. hit that notification bell so that you get notified of when I upload videos. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!